Forever Purge.
Welcome back. That is a new ad from a political action group called Remove Ron, the group dedicating themselves to creating propaganda against Florida's governor, Ron DeSantis. Let's talk about this now with Turning Point USA contributor, lawyer, and Republican strategist, also a Florida resident, Erin Elmore. Also with us, the CEO of the Babylon Bee, Seth Dillon, also a Florida resident, and journalist Matthew Foley from the Washington Free Beacon, who someday will be a Florida resident. I'm betting on that. Anyway, great to see everybody. How are we doing today?
Great. How are you?
Great.
All right, so before we get started, let's take another listen to another part of that ad. Here it is.
This fall, don't breathe in.
This is insane.
The Forever Purge.
The Forever Purge. Erin, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being good, 0 being bad, how far negative do you have to go to rate this as being a bad ad?
That question was very complicated, but the ad was not. I give this a 10 out of 10 for being desperate and terrible. People are moving to Florida in droves. The numbers don't lie. The statistics don't lie. And the reason why people are moving here are better job opportunities. There is low crime. There is, not mask mandates. People can work out. People can dine. People can go out. People can live their lives. This is America. Florida is America. They are synonymous these days. And truthfully, it seems like it's one of the last great bastions of hope. So this ad basically fell flat. Every time I fly into Florida airspace, my blood pressure just lowers. And I know I'm coming home to a world of freedom. So this ad did nothing but probably make other states sad that they've lost real estate revenue, because Florida realtors are going to be busy after this one.
Yeah, and that's the feeling I get, too, every time I fly back into Florida. And I haven't left a lot during the pandemic because it's been a pretty safe place, pretty good place to be. Now, there, of course, are issues like every state has. But, Seth, I think one of the great things about Florida is that, Governor DeSantis identified the key folks that needed the protection initially, the most vulnerable, the senior citizens. And that was why it was so successful initially.
Project ad here. It's going to totally backfire and ultimately help Ron DeSantis.
Yes.
So,
all right.
John Bachman, are we saying he's now called Teflon Ron?
I think so. We can do that. I like Teflon Ron. We'll see what happens with that one. I mean, that's kind of taken already. And I don't know if he'd appreciate the mafia reference with the Teflon Don, John Gotti. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, for the language, but the sentiment, I think, is what we want to focus on there, Erin. Referencing specifically the countries, and Pitbull is in Miami. If you go to a Miami Marlins baseball game and you watch the national anthem, the people from Venezuela, the people from Cuba, the people from Colombia, they appreciate what this country has offered them. And Pitbull, has a message for the folks who don't. And I think it's one well taken by a lot of folks, even if we don't like the language.
Right. Forget about the language. I think he's a Cuban American. And when the Cuban crisis started occurring in this country not too long ago, revitalizing it rather, he really stood up. And what I like to see is that rock stars think it's cool again to be an outlier. I want conservatism to be the norm for people. And I love what he said. He's giving a true America first message and how great this country is. And it's so funny when you hear these like rock stars and punk bands that are like, go Joe Biden. You're supposed to be a rock star. You're supposed to be fighting the norm. You're supposed to be different. Good for Pitbull, good for Rihanna, good for Nicki Minaj. It's time that they're starting to stand up and say, wait a minute, things aren't right in this country, and the Republicans seem to be fighting for America.
Yeah, and then we had Rihanna, right? I think that's how you say her name. Rihanna, thank you. Thank you for correcting me, Erin. I'm not so cool with the popular music, but she says, think while it's still legal. And this is another thing, Seth, that seems to be in danger. Free thought is attacked constantly. I know there are a lot of folks in Miami that are still a little scarred about Joe Biden and the Despacito incident from the campaign trail. But we'll leave it there. Guys, we got to run. We're going to have Seth and Erin and Matt come back. It is Friday, and Meme Team will be here. Some good memes to bring you, too, coming up in the next hour. Also, still ahead, and welcoming in our teamers this week, Erin Elmore, Matthew Foley, and Seth Dillon. Great to see everybody again. And we're going to start today with this big frickin' deal, also known as Biden's Build Back Better plan. The only thing building right now, though, is the tension between progressives and moderates. We get Joe and Kirsten standing in the breach. So the Build Back Better agenda has been beaten back now. Cheney and George Bush, we showed it here on Meme Team, and then President Trump used it at his rally in Georgia. And this is where Fox News comes in. Himself points out on his Instagram story, slide number 1 here, saying that, let's go back to that one, can we, real quick? I just want to read that headline one more time. Trump this week, Turning Point USA contributor, lawyer and Republican strategist Erin Elmore, also back with us. Seth Dillon, the CEO of the Babylon Bee, and Matthew Foldy, the man in the bolo ties from the Washington Free Beacon. All right, let's go first. Ladies first. As always, here on the meme team, Erin, what do you got for us this week?
This is not a funny meme, it's a true meme. And it says, a pandemic so severe that we can afford to fire all of our healthcare workers. And this is what's happening in New York. People that were so revered at the start of the pandemic when there was no vaccine. These were our frontline healthcare workers. We cheered for them nightly. They were praised and lauded as they should have been. But now, because some of them don't want to get this vaccine, they are being fired, they are being cast aside, and it's truly sad. If we were in such a state of crisis, wouldn't we want all hands on deck? Wouldn't we want all of these valuable healthcare workers working overtime and regardless of their vaccine status, just helping everyone that they possibly could? And what we see is the exact opposite, and it's really sad and shameful. And I feel bad for these people that have lost their jobs. Hopefully they will be able to find employment at other places in other states. And I feel bad for the people of New York who go into these hospitals and other states that have fired all of these frontline workers.
There was a nursing shortage before the pandemic even happened. And, it is somewhat bizarre to see this going on. Also with the airline industry, it's not like everyone's bragging about how great the service has been. Lots of flights have been canceled and they're doing the same thing.
This is a poignant reminder of how great our Constitution and system of government is.
Yeah, go ahead, Erin, sorry.
And this is what happens when you give up your guns. The Australians said, it's okay, we don't need guns. And now look at them. These people that are acting as police officers are dressed like Darth Vader and armed to the T, and yet the citizens have nothing. And they're living in a police state. They cut their internet. They stop them from protesting. They take down their Facebook pages. Australia's really scary, and hopefully something changes for them soon.
Right. The Second Amendment, you hope to never have to use it for its original purpose. But if you don't have it and you don't have the guns, this is, the government doesn't fear their constituency as they should.
But there's actually a lot of public support for this heavy-handed approach to these types of measures to combat COVID. So we do need to be concerned about it for real.
Yeah, in certain places there is a lot of support, like in teachers' unions and in Democratic Party circles, things like that. But in Middle America, places where people actually enjoy freedom, they don't want to see this here in this country. But great to see everyone. Always appreciate the memes, guys. Thanks so much, Erin, Matt, Seth. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, and stay safe, of course. Stay with us. We're going to have your catch.